Hey everybody, it's Kendra. I wanted to talk about a healing crisis. So a lot of people don't know that this happens, and so it's really important to know it. And not every healing professional out there, healer, teacher, guide, mystic, is going to know that a healing crisis might happen. So let's say I've got a lot of trauma in my body. I can't remember it, or I can. And then I start going to somebody who is not a trauma trained professional and who is not a licensed therapist. And even licensed therapists aren't trauma trained. We're just trauma informed. You have to go out and become trauma trained, which is what I did and what I'm doing. So they may be like, oh, it's so great. You remembered that you were sexually assaulted. They're not going to think that. Maybe in their head they are. The thing is, though, is that unless they learn about something called titration, meaning we're going to go into the trauma vortex and then we're going to come into a balanced vortex, some kind of happy memory, a pleasant sensation feeling. You're going to be pulled out of it. And instead of pouring a ton of vinegar on baking soda and creating an explosion, you're going drip, drip, drip with the baking soda, and there's a little bit, or with the vinegar, and then there's like a little bit of sizzle, sizzle, settle, sizzle, settle. And if you don't, that can cause your nervous system to go into a deep trauma vortex. So either you're going to get really angry and explosive, and that's how you're just going to be for a while, or you're going to be really depressed, maybe lethargic. It's going to pull you into that depression. And I use these words as descriptors of the way the body is behaving, not as a diagnosis, because I don't really believe in diagnosis unless it's like literal like psychopathy or bipolar. And still with that, trauma is normally at the base with bipolar. But with that being said, the normal things, quote unquote normal, which shouldn't be normalized, but they are. I mean, normalized as in it's okay to have it, but not normal as in I'm going to give you a pill, bye, have a good day. Okay? The body's trying to tell us something when we're anxious and depressed and all these other things. We need to listen to the body. Okay? So another thing, if you're going to someone who's a really big spiritual healer, right? They're like, okay, we're going to work on this, and these are your belief systems and things like that, and we're going to work on getting rid of those and adding these in and changing that around. Well, I know I'm sounding a little bit like I'm mocking it, but I do spiritual counseling all the time with other practitioners for myself. The thing is, though, again, if they're not trauma trained or at least trauma informed about this, then even doing that can cause your body to go into something called a healing crisis, which is what I just talked about with the way your body responds to having all of the trauma unleashed, or all of the whatever's been being suppressed or inside released. Maybe it's not something that happened to you in this lifetime. Maybe it's something that happened to your ancestors and it's coming through into your cells because epigenetics are real. So then there's going to a biofeedback session with someone who is trained in that, not just someone who has a machine who says they're doing it. And then they're like, okay, so we're working on the whole body, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, which is what the biofeedback people that I go to do. And they give you like a prescriptive plan. So they're like, okie doke, so you're going to take these things, eat this stuff, don't do this, don't do that, you need to go do this, and then you're going to go do the spiritual thing with this, and then, yeah, okay. So, all due respect to these people, unless I knew that a healing crisis might occur, then I may be thrown off my rocker. Like, holy shit, I'm getting rid of these parasites. I'm detoxing emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm adding in all this other stuff, but oh my gosh, my nervous system is just it's not having it, and you might disassociate completely. Just, okay, well, it's unsafe to be in here, so I'm just gonna, okay, then I'm gonna be numb. Okay, or I'm going to be really fighty or really flighty or things like that, or depressed or frozen. So you really have to not be scared of this stuff, but be aware of it. Not all practitioners are. You can't expect them to be. I wish they were, but they're not. It's your job to know this. So I go into all of these things knowing this. And I'm like, okay. And I know how to monitor my body. I have resources for myself that I've developed myself with my own counselor. And then I also have all of these other healers that I can go to. And so I've created an eclectic way to keep me okay. And also that has a lot to do with your social relationships and your like family relationships. So people who are close to you that can help you. I don't do it all on my own. I have my sister, I have my boyfriend, I have some family members, other family members who I'm close to and who I can be a little vulnerable with, and I monitor that because, you know, not everyone you can be vulnerable with. But I have this too. I have community around me. I'm not doing it alone, although I was for a while and it was a little harder. Okay, humans are bred for connection. All right, so keep that in mind. And if you value the content I create, please like, subscribe, and share. Bye.